Neighbor. Good.
Good morning, CK. Good morning, everybody. We've got an interesting subject for you today. We're going to be short on this subject, but it's about grandparents. Aging population. The UK's got it, India's got it, all the world's got it. And we're talking about the well-being of these people, the mental issues that lots of old people are suffering around the world today. And we've got a few solutions that you could try. And it doesn't cost you any money to try it either. We're not going to sell you an online program. We're not going to say, download this and buy this from Amazon. We're going to just give you some simple examples that actually will increase the well-being, not just of elderly people, but also of all age groups. How's that? What do you reckon to that, CK?
Well, I think it's a very important subject, and with COVID and lockdown situation, some of these issues are aggravated within the family. And I must tell you about India. In India, we are mostly living about 60 to 70% household are joint families, which is the grandparents and grandchildren are staying with the current generation. So, the parents live all their life with their kids and grandchildren in one household. That is the norm here. Whether you are Christians or a Muslim or a Hindu, everyone lives in the same manner. That is a tradition. And I know for sure that, as people age, sometimes they get very sort of hardliner, and those issues are normally considered as part of normal aging and sort of ignored. And I'm sure, these are all issues which can be corrected by a simple visit to psychiatrist. But usually it is considered a taboo in India. People don't want to take help from others. So they tend to do their own things. They have their own social circles and things like that. That kind of life controls all these phenomena. But with COVID now in picture for last almost a year, everybody's stuck at home. Their social life is disrupted. The children school is disrupted. Our generation also, because we are just talking on the Zoom platform like this one, and the elderlies don't know how to use all these very effectively, and they don't have their friend circle. They are not able to go to parks and talk to their friends and discuss few things. So they are also losing out sort of an outlet. And I'm sure it's a big problem, especially the mental health of elderly. Probably you can tell us few ideas how we can cope up with these issues.
Well, it is a huge problem. And as you say, COVID, I mean, it's good that you've got a family integrated unit because I think that helps with all sorts of, effectively, you've got babysitters on tap, as we would call it in the UK. Um, and, some families keep local so that they've got that babysitting opportunity. I mean, grandparents or your parents have got more uses than babysitters, but when your children are very young, parents need a break too. So when the parents would like to go out, even for a walk, and they don't want to take the children with them, then grandparents actually sit in and become the babysitter. So this is nothing new. It's not rocket science. It's been done for years and years and years and years. So let's just take a leaf out of our ancestors. What did they do? Well, COVID has cooped us all up in the same environment. So in the first instance, I think what we need to be looking at is creating our own space, having times of day where you've got your own space and you do your own thing. So, and that's the children typically are going to be online. They're going to be doing their schooling. So the grandparents actually, rather than helping them with the schooling, perhaps leave that to the parents, and the grandparents, that's their downtime. They can sit in front of the TV, they can snooze, they can read a book, do the crossword, and just chat amongst themselves, have that adult time. So I think this is important to recognize. We need to be a little bit disciplined about what we do, especially when we're cooped up together and there's no outlet. We need to create those outlets. The second thing is, I remember as a kid playing cards with my mum, and we would after dinner, or as we called it, tea. After about 5 o'clock, we'd all do the washing up, and then we'd sit round the table. And we've already done our homework because we've been home from school. We'd sit round the table, we'd play cards. I remember playing a game called Newmarket, which had 4 cards on the table, and you just literally played cards. And it was great fun. We cheated like everybody else. We laughed like everybody else. My mum laughed. And when, on an odd occasion, one of my grandparents was staying with us because they lived like 400 miles away, then my nan would laugh too. And she'd be one of the best at cheating. Okay. She'd be teaching us cheats we'd never even thought of. And it's fine because cheating's part of the game. You know, it's having a little bit of fun. There's nothing wrong with it. That worked for us. It could work for you. And I know, CK, it actually works for you because you started to play cards with the kids and your parents. So just lead people through what happens when you play cards.
Yes, in fact, we had this issue where we were not able to find time to communicate with each other because to handle these issues, I think communication is the key. Where if you are able to provide that platform for everyone to, talk and discuss, then they will not have these issues, the solitary issue, even though they are living in one family unit. So we thought that after dinner we will play cards, and that will give us a family bonding time every night, every day after dinner. So, we started it. It is actually very interesting. Everybody is laughing on the table. Every hand that we play, there is, kids are very smart, smartest of the cheats on the table. They learn very fast. So those kind of things are happening. Every hand we are laughing as a family.
And we do know that laughter, is a good mental health medicine. It's the cheapest medicine out. And the nice thing is, when everyone joins in, you can't stop the laughter. And I bet there are occasions in your family where you laugh for absolutely no reason whatsoever, and everyone laughs. And then, but you never say what were we laughing about. You just get on with it, and you enjoy the next laugh. You are your own set of comedians, really, and anyone can do this. It doesn't cost anything to do. And you could do it. You don't have to play cards. You could do a crossword. You could create a crossword. So here's some opportunity to get the kids to be creative, get them to make the crossword, and challenge the grandparents, you know, to finish it. It will take the children longer to do the crossword than it will do the adults to finish it. Hopefully, as long as the dictionary's been used and they've used proper words. But again, you can have fun with that. Scrabble is an absolutely brilliant game, and again, what the children are learning, they're learning new words. They're learning to be team players. They're learning to be engaging. They're learning to listen, to have fun. And those are some characteristics that we sadly lack actually in the workplace. So there's so many things you could get a hold of. And there's another one is where a lot of old people do miss their old friends. They can't go to the coffee shop, and meet, their friends on a regular basis. But the likelihood is that their friends do have access to the internet. They do have a workstation. They do have a tablet. They might even have an iPhone. The likelihood is they will have a smartphone. I can tell you now that there's some TV programs that have been run in the UK over the last 5 or 6 years, where young kids go into care homes and they're teaching very old people how to use Skype, FaceTime, Zoom, all the technology. And they get hold of it and they go, well, you just do this, this, and this. This is how I talk to my dad. You can talk to your friend. And the kids are so demonstrative and simple. and patient as well, you know, because an old person might think, oh, well, I don't really want to do that. I'm scared. I'm not too sure about this technology. And the kids will say, well, look, this is all you do. Bish, bash, bosh, and off you go. And the nice thing is that if those grandparents have got other grandparents' friends at a distance, they're going to be grandparents of other kids. So all of a sudden, the other kids can be involved too, and they can have a little bit of fun. I don't know if you, CK, have ever tried to play Scrabble, with your kids play Scrabble with their friends, in other houses. I mean, even next door. I mean, you can do this from room to room, actually, if you've got enough tablets, and it's hilarious. It's even more fun because you hear the next door laughing their head off, and you think, well, what are they laughing at? And you suddenly realise you spelt it wrong, you know, and then you start to laugh as well. Another game is battleships. I don't know if you've. I mean, I used to play battleships a lot when I was a kid. You can play battleships from a distance. There are so many games that you can play and have some fun from a distance, but bring yourself together. So I hope these are just a few ideas today to help people along, because mental health of everybody, not just elderly people, but of everybody, is absolutely critical, not just in this COVID time, but all times. We all need to know we can pick up the phone to a friend, because we never know when we're going to need them.
Well, nowadays there are a lot of games on Facebook, especially the battle game is fantastic. I don't know whether you got to see the latest version of the battle
No,
games.
I didn't even know it was on Facebook. But I would play battleships on a piece of paper. I'd draw a grid, and
Right.
we put one square for a submarine, two for a destroyer, three for a battleship, and four for an aircraft carrier. I can even remember it now. So and it's harmless fun. Nobody gets injured. All you're doing is picking a square. It's incredibly funny.
Right. So now it has gone beyond from squares, and you can pick Yamato, you can pick Mississippi, you can take Prince of Wales, and
The digital age, CK. I must,
right,
I must go online and have a look at it.
right, and you can check their statistics. How fast they go, what is the thickness of their aft,
Oh,
what is the
blimey, that's a
length.
bit too much information.
And the Scrabble is also online. Thousands of people will be playing at any time. But I think above all, if I take my parents, we have this speaker remote, and they are very comfortable pressing the numbers. And those are the things which are not available now. So they feel very uncomfortable talking about the channel, what program they want to see, because now you have to speak in the remote instead of pressing that number. So I think, but you mentioned correctly, the kids are very smart, and they are the people who are teaching them how to do things. It's not we. The kids are teaching them how to press, how to go to this website, how to download this music, how to do things. So they're very cohesive team. And above all, the communication is the key here, because if you leave them alone, there could be some unfortunate people where the communication can become an issue, and that will lead to serious problems. So I think the people who are looking after the elderlies in their homes, they should communicate with these people to make sure that the mental health is taken care. Some of these issues can be handled very easily by simple communication.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And, hopefully we've given people a few insights today as what they can do. There is always a downside. There always is, there are always people that are preying on young people, and they prey on old people too. The number of people that, release funds because they think someone's being honest with them on the phone. But we only learn through communication. And as I say, the best way actually is to engage grandparents and grandchildren, but give a bit of space. In these COVID times, everyone's cooped up in the same place. Give yourself a little bit of space. Have a little bit of discipline, because that's what you need. Because if it's 24/7, that is mental anguish. You know, not every grandparent can handle their grandchildren 24/7. I'm looking forward to being a grandparent, but I'm also looking forward to giving them back because I do know that I will be definitely needing my space. And that's not being nasty, it's just being realistic, you know. At the end of the day, we need to recognize and be respectful that we all need a little bit of our own space. But it's a fascinating subject. We can do so much for mental health without going to see a psychiatrist, without going to see a doctor. Those are in serious cases. Yes, you should go there. You know, it's a bit like if you break your leg, you know, don't strap it together and think it's going to be okay. You need to go to the hospital to get your leg fixed. But there's a lot of mental health, a little bit of anxiousness, a little bit of being overwhelmed, getting angry from antsy from time to time. These are things that we can deal with on an ongoing basis. And grandchildren love their grandparents. And I'm sure it's the same the other way around. So we can do an awful lot for the mental health of the country.
I think some of the ideas that you mentioned are very relevant, very important, especially in the COVID era. And I'm sure viewers who are watching this will follow some of these guidelines. So thank you very much, Naval, for finding time and discussing this very important subject, which is affecting the world. We will catch up again on something interesting again in Naval Gunt Live very soon.
We will do. Have fun, CK. Have fun, everybody. Good mental health.
Thank you, Naval. Bye bye.